Welcome to the
Multiverse
multiverse with
your hosts.
Me,
Your hosts.
me,
You better
Better
host
host.
game. And
Me.
you better host game.
I'm Pixie.
There it is. Welcome to a special episode again to InfiniGeeks. We have a special guest with us today. It is Pixiewitchgameing, or Pixie for short. Has been a very long supporter for the podcast since the early creation days. And you may be hearing an echo, and that is because she is throwing a party over there with the strobe lights on her end. And it's all good, but we'll figure out the echo at one point in time. I'll fix it in post. We'll be fine. We do apologize of the intro being off again. Our intro guy is in a regeneration. He lost his hand. He will be back the following next stream that we have.
We'd like to hope unless he bites a finger off.
We'd very much like to hope he comes back. So, Pixie, this is your first time on InfiniGeeks.
Yes.
And it's super. Hopefully, you're excited to be here with us.
Yes. Long time coming.
It's been a long time. For a lot of you guys who are listening or just jumping in with it, Pixie, I've known her for a while since I started streaming. She was one of them that helped give me the push to do this after a situation happened previously. And she's one of the first people that signed up to be a guest. And it just finally had scheduling point had a chance to work out to get her on here. So I'm excited to get her.
Oh yeah, and this is our first meeting, so hi, and thank you for pushing in to do this, because I never thought I'd get involved in something like this, and I'm having a lot of fun doing it.
I love the
Well, I mean, it's Wonder Woman, so it had to be done.
So Pixie, why don't you go ahead and introduce yourself, what your channel is, it's a little small promo spot if you want, and just kind of talk about yourself, how you got into the culture and how it's impacted you.
Well, I am Pixiewitchgameing, and I am a variety streamer, mostly known for zombies of any type. I do like to hug on the zombies. And Wonder Woman's my TV mom. And I like what she stands for. And Wonder Woman's I'm extremely independent, and I loved that. And I like someone in that time frame that I could wake up to every morning on the old sci-fi channel and get to enjoy having that, just that example.
Well, was that the original show with Linda Carter?
Yeah. Linda Carter is Wonder Woman to me.
Oh, okay. I got you. I definitely don't blame you there. I have a few thoughts. Like, say, Adam West is the Batman, so it's like Michael Keaton and everybody else. Nope. So I can agree with that.
Yes, I love her.
So how did nerd culture impact you growing up? I know you said Linda Carter's your TV mom, but how did that kind of come to be for you?
Well, like I grew up with like the old black and whites. A lot of it was horror, but I really loved the Invisible Man. I loved Creature from the Black Lagoon. And Wonder Woman was always in there. Lost in Space. I Dream a Genie, Bewitched. All those things like that was my life. And my grandma, who pretty much sat in the seat for mom for me, that was our time together because she worked third shift at the hospital. And that's the time that she had. So I would just lay in her bed while she went to sleep or whatever. And that's what we would do. So it just kind of started off that way, and it spun into wanting to know where those stories came from, and comics, and then being my favorite place to hang out was the back of comic shops.
Mm-hmm.
And then spun into D&D, but that's neither here nor there. But yeah, it's kind of like just where it started.
Well, I mean, we talk about it all the time. That nerd culture, it just everyone assumes is comics. It's just the animes and all this stuff, and it's really not. Um,
It's literally a growing multiverse. You have different things. Like you said, you have comics, gaming, tabletop games, TV shows, books. Heck, even just starting to inkle into other things now too.
yeah, and all the old stuff, the monster creature from the Black Lagoon, where movies, Dracula, Bela Lugosi, all of that, that is part of this culture. So from you being affected way back then, from it is just the earlier stages of that culture that has grown to be embraced by a majority of this world now. It's fully accepting that fact. So it is kind of cool to see that you started back then with those movies, and then inevitably it moved into, I could call it mainstream nerd culture with Wonder Woman and all of that. But to see you started that early was kind of cool.
Yeah, I loved Bela Lugosi so much. Like, well, kind of second to Vincent Price, but Bela Lugosi was a man of a thousand faces, and I love expressionalism in the face, micro expressions, stuff like that. So, probably the best compliment I ever had as a teenager, because I show all my feelings on my face. Like, I couldn't lie if I wanted to. Um, so they used to call me, the girl of a thousand faces because of that, and it was like the best compliment I've ever had. Like, it was great. I love him so much.
I bet you geeked out over that. I definitely
Yes, I did. So much. Yes, Bela Lugosi.
I gotta ask at that point, since you are definitely a big fan of that point, what was your favorite monster movie from Black and White?
Mm, so I guess my favorite black and white horror doesn't really count in that arena, but
I think
probably. Well, I mean, Last Man on Earth is my favorite black and white horror movie.
it's involving zombies. I would consider that it's a monster movie.
Yes. And then probably Frankenstein, Mary Shelley's Frankenstein. That's probably one of my favorite for Bela Lugosi. But I mean, he was so many different characters. You like had to know it was him to tell it was him. So
Yeah. You really did. Bela Lugosi movies were very good at that point. That it was very hard to see them and know, unless you knew it was him. He was very well hidden with those, and I liked with that. Uh, if I go black and white movie, it is probably still, I think, the most underrated monster movie to this day. I still stand by it so much.
yeah, he was really good Wolfman too.
See, Wolfman's not underrated. I gotta go with The Blob. It's just the most misunderstood, underrated movie.
Well, and it suits your personality. You're like a blob.
Exactly. I eat everything.
Dude, like, I mean, the only movie that's ever actually instilled actual fear in me was a silent film. Like, I love the old-fashioned stuff and horror and stuff like that, because it was Nosferatu. I still can't watch that, and I'm a grown-ass woman.
So you're gonna watch?
Oh yeah, that movie still scares the shit out of me to this day too.
Yeah, it's really freaky.
So that means you're gonna watch the remake, right?
What?
Yeah, there's a remake coming out.
I didn't know this either.
Oh yeah. It is.
It won't be as scary. It won't be. They can't redo that.
It's the dude playing Pennywise is playing him. Of course, it's gonna be horrifying.
Nah, it's not gonna be the same vibe, man. Well, like, I think what instilled fear is the fact that it was a fucking silent film. Like, and he was just there, and I don't know. I don't know.
I think it will, as long as you can keep it true to the source material. It doesn't have to be silent, but as long as you don't have it purposely like jumping out to scare you, it's just like, you're standing in the back hallway unlit and they've walked into you. I think you'll be okay. It's just like they look up, look at you, just silently scream, grab them, yank them inside. It'll be fine. Keep true to the source material.
Yeah, if they do, it could go either way. It could be great or it could be really bad, But I'm not always brave with remakes. Like I said, I was brave with their remake of Last Man on Earth because it's my favorite movie, and I didn't end up hating it. The I Am Legend. It was a pretty good movie.
I liked it.
I think Will Smith did Vincent Price some honor there. But then there's House on Haunted Hill remake that I wanted to smash my TV screen for. So,
it all comes down to like the writers and producers and what they envision for that story, and you got to think, why would you mess up such a good story by going, oh, I think it should be done this way? And
yeah, they did it for, what is it called, House of Wax or something like that.
Yeah, that was the movie. Yeah.
Like, seriously, keep Paris Hilton out of my horror films. That was not an awesome moment. So
wait, who'd you keep out of horror films?
Paris Hilton.
No. Hey, hang on. I stand by this because I love watching that scene.
I mean, I like that she died.
That's the point.
I was just gonna say the same thing. Make her the first death and be done.
Yes, that was pleasurable, but and I at least appreciated that that they added a character, Vincent or Mr. Price or something like that. Like they incorporated him in there, not as the same character. I don't really remember it. That movie was kind of a blur. But they did pay homage.
Mm-hmm. And I do like that. I just saw Scream 6 the other day, and I didn't realize until after this movie that the characters they introduced in Scream 5 are the Carpenters, and I hate myself not realizing that's a homage to John Carpenter.
It took you a minute, didn't it?
Well, it was a really obvious one that you just kind of don't really think about until you go, huh.
Yeah, but I appreciate homage being paid in remakes, even if they're really sorry. About as much as the Easter eggs in video games. Like I like to flesh that stuff out. Like it's nice. It's nice when they pay homage to the original.
Exactly.
I do have to agree. It's nice that they pay homage. I like it when they take it a step further in some movies and they just make it to a full blown like crossover at times. But it depends on how it works.
True.
Oni's seen the shit in all the backgrounds, and I guess he sees my Avengers poster just hiding back there.
He is very observant.
I'll show you a different time, Oni, but that's midnight premiere Avengers Age of Ultron. It's thick cardboard, and the whole poster's indented.
So what you're saying is I should come over and light it on fire on camera?
I got a sword that will have your name on it if you touch that.
I have a sword too. If you need to borrow one.
That's fine. I got like 14 of them too. So bring it.
InfiniGeeks update: murder on the co-stars.
Live for your pleasure.
Live for your pleasures. Pixie will narrate the murder scene happening.
Yes.
Don't forget the strobe lights.
So, Miss Pixie, out of all of everything that is nerd culture, you've told us how it's impacted you, how you kind of grown up with it, that you fell in love with it, and all. What are some of the topics or subjects or anything in that culture that you're really into, that you always go back to?
I mean, like as far as things that shaped me in there, they're pretty surprising because with the exception of makeup, because I do horror makeup,
Mm-hmm.
I'm not girly. But my my representation of certain geeky shows that kind of help shape my own personality are the more feminine ones.
Mm-hmm.
Um, and some of that kind of gets ruined as you grow up because they are in a different time frame.
Mm-hmm.
Like I loved I Dream a Genie so much. I loved Bewitched and stuff like that. Now looking back, um, if a man talked to me that way, he would probably be 6 feet under. But for the time, it was great. Like you pulled funny things from it. Um, but Wonder Woman was the only one out of that, um, the only one that inspired actual strength.
Yeah.
Because Dream a Genie, yeah, sure, she was sexy and she could do things, and most of the time just got in trouble. Uh, Same thing for Bewitched, really, and the whole premise was hiding who she was. Wonder Woman was just out there,
Mm-hmm.
handling stuff, and that's why she's my favorite, and probably the only one, because this is going to get extremely unpopular, opinionated, but I don't like Batman. I don't like Spider-Man and stuff like that because I find them extremely depressive. Like
Mm-hmm.
I don't know. Like I'm like, come on, guys. Like you have a way to change the world and you hate it. And I prefer the ones that did kind of like take it, embrace it, and do something with it. Um, and I don't know, like that. Those are the ones I loved. I loved Superman. I loved all of those like more otherworldly ones.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And to be it's like it's not an unpopular opinion to not like Superman or Batman or Spider-Man. Some people do, some people don't. Uh, I mean, if you look into the sense of Batman as a core character, there's a College Humor skit that's called Bad Man, and it sums it up in one line where Superman goes, "I want to team up with you," and he goes, "Why? I'm rich and nuts. Rich and nuts. That's about it."
A rich guy with cool toys,
It is. And then
he was a vigilante, in my opinion, not a superhero.
yeah, I mean, it can definitely be a fine line of which way you want to go, because there are points where he does stay vigilante, then he does go hero when he's with Justice League, and then villain when he actually kills people. Spider-Man's kind of the same way, where he is considered a vigilante, but his own little things can go different directions. So it's
Yeah.
we're in multiverse in the InfiniGeeks. We don't judge anybody on any of that stuff because everyone
Yeah.
in this world is entitled to their own opinion.
Yeah,
But
and like Stan Lee being my freaking hero, it's really weird that my favorite one is Wonder Woman because I'm not actually a DC person.
well, Stan Lee. I can go in a whole episode with that. I got like 16 books on that side and a bobblehead looking at me right now. But he helped a lot of DC stuff at that time. He helped shape a lot of stuff that was with DC Comics, helped them get up with some things. Um, and if you think about it too, in a history point, if it wasn't for Stan Lee coming in there with Stan Lee, Jack Kirby, Steve Ditko, and his brother-in-law, shows you how many names I know for that time frame. Um, if it wasn't for their competition to go against DC, you know, Wonder Woman probably wouldn't have or they wouldn't have kept going because comics inevitably hit a stalemate because it was just the same repetitiveness. Wonder Woman, including, granted, Wonder Woman was created to finally give that female voice in the comic world and, show we can stand the power, we can fight this.
Yeah.
That could only go so far in a time frame where you're still adjusting the mindset of women belong in the kitchen, they go to school, they raise the baby, stay home, they're not able to do that stuff. And Wonder Woman was a big driving point.
Heck, even to this day, she's still a driving point for that.
Exactly.
I mean, everything is just slow in change because you got the old generations that don't want stuff to change, and it's like, sorry, it's inevitable. You old bastards are gonna die, and it's gonna change. There's nothing you can do about it. So you
Yeah.
either just let it go.
Yeah, and with you, Stan Lee would not be upset with that. Stan Lee's biggest thing in any comics was the comic world. We made relatable characters to the modern person, and we want them to hopefully learn a lesson from these comics and these stories and these people to become a better person in life. Whether you are gay, transgender, whether you're black, white, Asian, Latino, it doesn't matter. We want you to be accepting. So he did truly supported Wonder Woman as the comics were growing. I think there was some people that they stole from Marvel to work on that and vice versa. And they even asked them at some points for small notes of how to help increase a storyline or two with that subject. So he would. I would tell you this right now. Just reading about his life and seeing interviews, he would not be mad at that at all. I think he would actually be pretty happy about that.
Well, like, I think he did a fantastic job with his female characters as well. Like, I love the Invisible Woman. I love Fantastic Four in general. I loved a lot of the X-Men characters. Rogue is my favorite.
Mm-hmm.
And stuff like that. So I think he did an incredible job as well with female characters and inclusivity. Thank you. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. But no, when Wonder Woman was such a fun topic that you asked us to bring up, because this is a character that you loved, you appreciated. It's grown over the years to empower big things. When you think comics for female empowerment, the first one that always will come to mind is Wonder Woman, because she was the first and still is considered the first, in my eyes at least, for comics.
Yes.
But at the same time, like you were just saying, Rogue, Mystique, Susan Storm, all of them, She-Hulk, all of those kind of started from Wonder Woman. And Wonder Woman was that stepping stone to branch out to these other characters. It's like, okay, here's the mold that finally broke. Let's piggyback on this to help further this agenda.
She was the proof that it could work, that they could make female strong characters, and people would love it.
Yeah. She made it okay to be a strong female and not necessarily have the normal female lifestyle.
Exactly.
Or need to be helped, really.
Exactly. And if it wasn't for Wonder Woman, I still stand by it. We wouldn't have She-Hulk, who definitely showed, look, a woman can be just as strong as the Hulk and can be even smarter. You wouldn't have Susan Storm, who the invisibility is kind of showing you that I'm going to hide from my problems, but I don't have to do that, and I can use this stuff for good. So it really was the stepping stone for all of this stuff. And I would love someone to fight us on this difference, because I will prove you wrong. I will prove you wrong that Wonder Woman was indeed the stepping stone for all of that.
I don't know what character would have been before Wonder Woman, because honestly, probably failed.
Well, in the comic world before that, before Action Comics and all of that, before Justice League and all of them, it was just like Tarzan comics, Western comics, wartime comics, and a lot of the times when it was the female, it was always the damsel in distress. Wonder Woman was the breaking mold.
Even now.
Yeah, well, yeah, it is. There are some with that point. Um, but if you do that now, I think the comic world was able to learn from Wonder Woman that you can have a damsel in distress moment, but if the female character is able to get past that moment or learn from that moment or some form of evolution from that moment to make sure it doesn't happen again, is where you can see comics in right now. A good example would be for damsel in distress would be if, say, Mary Jane got kidnapped and she was taken away for like 2 weeks. We don't know what happened. She could suffer from PTSD. In older time comics, you could have that, and it's just like, she's fine. Don't worry about it. But in modern comics, we'll show the ramifications of that and her fighting to get past all of that.
Mm-hmm.
And that is a fun moment to know that, again, to the subject, Wonder Woman broke the mold to show female characters and females in general can be empowered. They can get over struggles and great hurdles and be just twice as strong or as strong as men. That
Mm-hmm.
is that is what this character did for this world.
And even if we take it out of the box of promoting female strength and independence, it was a good business decision because it's no different than like the video game world or whatever. Like without main characters like Aloy and Forbidden West and stuff like that, like it takes a situation where you have half the audience you could have. Um, and Wonder Woman included the rest of that audience that they could have. It was an excellent business decision.
Hmm.
And then it had all those other fun perks as well. Like I think the comic book world and the show, the movies, everything, we needed that.
Hmm. And Zero, go ahead. I think you were going to say something.
It's lost on me. Alzheimer's.
Well, let me know when it comes back.
Yeah, no problem.
Pixie, it does happen a lot, I promise.
No, yeah, same. I have the memory of a goldfish.
But no, you were right.
Yeah.
At the time, just like with that DC's like, well, let's get this out there. There's some people at the point that did not think Wonder Woman would do good because nobody wants to see a strong woman and all of that stuff. And the creator of it came out and was like, no, we need this. We're talking about change in this world that we want to change because this was during World War II. And um, and he's like, no, this if we want to change the world, we need to take a stand somewhere.
Mhm.
And the guy that was created it even came out and said, or got told, this is going to be on you, man. You fail it, it's on you. I don't want any part of it. It's going to be all your ship. And he did this and showed it could be. Now, granted, yes, now in modern society, we can still see the very BDSM themes for the original Wonder Woman because there was a lot. I have no explanation of why there was.
Why her braces are still called the braces of submission is still flabbergasting to me. But hey.
I have the answer to that. We'll get to that.
Oh boy.
But Pixie, I keep saying it. It was such a good subject that you wanted to do with it because it's such a giant mold. That the cracks open and to be able to stem from something and go in it is, it's a breaking point for even with InfiniGeeks. We cover the multiverse. The universe wouldn't expand except for certain key moments, and Wonder Woman was a key moment in that society.
Yeah. Yeah, she's pretty awesome.
So Miss Pixie, we definitely do that a lot. We do talk, and we love to interact with our guests and get a feel with them. I do want to jump back on something earlier that we asked with you about some of your topics that jumped, that impacted you and everything. I don't think I want to share that moment with you because I don't think Zero and I actually ever got a chance to discuss that with anybody besides ourselves either. So you get to be the breaking news that helps us do that with you to talk about what's impacted us. So Zero, would you like to go first or would you like me to go first?
Go first.
Okay. Pixie, I'm with you on that. That definitely Wonder Woman was one of them for me. Because growing up, I did watch Linda Carter. It was obviously reruns, but at the time, all I'm watching is all the Stronger Men and everything like that, and it was such a different take to see a woman in power like that at a young age, and it definitely made me respect my mom a lot more, and definitely made me realize she can whoop my ass. So,
Yes.
yeah, mama whoop your ass. But I agree with that, and it kind of led me on this cool road to see the impact that things have done with that. And I didn't realize it until I'm getting older. Like, I loved watching Doctor Who, and I didn't realize that every Doctor Who episode back in the day, including now, there's some similar or some message in there that kind of teaches you to be a better person. Was an impact for me. Uh, Comic books in general were a huge impact for me growing up, because like we just talked about, Stan Lee's comics, DC Comics, Dark Horse, Top Cow, all of those had some form of a message for their characters. It could be the most bloodthirstiest killer, but he can still have a moral code. Like Deathstroke, I'll kill anybody, but I won't kill women. I won't kill women and I won't kill children because that's a line I won't cross. And it was to see those impacts kind of, I feel like it shaped me to respect people, and I'm trying to instill that with my kid as he's growing up in this world that's all over the place, that it's take a lesson from the past to see how you should be in the future.
Yes.
Which I think I did just buy the Wonder Woman collection, so I might have to do that with my child this week.
Get him into it, darn it.
Yeah, watch the fun spin around, the little transition. Spin outfit. Spin. Now I'm back in normal clothes. It was. you gotta love the '70s for their stuff.
Or like the Superman spin in the phone booth.
You gotta have the music for it. Dun da 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 da.
We still don't know where the bathroom is in the invisible plane, but that's fine.
Family Guy covered that.
But Family Guy covered that. Family Guy covered that.
Okay, fair. Yeah, I do remember that.
Superman going to talk to her. I'm in the bathroom right now. Oh.
I'm in the invisible bathroom. Zero, your turn, good sir.
Stuff that inspired me. Like, honestly, one of my first superhero films, if not the first one, was the 1989 Batman. And I love the job that Michael Keaton did and the way that he portrayed Batman at a time when I knew nothing about it. It showed me that, a normal guy can go out and change the world if he wanted to. Yeah, sometimes you may not have the means to do a certain thing, but that doesn't mean you can't be smart enough to figure it out. And that was definitely something that inspired me, was to try to learn more about whatever situation I'm in, come at it from a different angle to be better, whatever may have you. And growing up, I watched a lot of kids anime like Pokemon or Digimon. They had life stories in their episodes as well. And I guess maybe it was our childhood. I don't know about the shows nowadays, but each episode had some type of lingering lesson to go, hey, you can be a better person. You don't have to be the guy that's trying to outdo somebody and ruin their lives to get ahead. You don't have to be that way. And I have to say, without those shows, I probably wouldn't be the decent enough person I guess I am today. Some people question that, especially my co-host here. But when it came to like a strong inspiration for like showing me that women could be strong too, my mom was a cop for most of my life, and she showed me how tough she had to be, what things she had to do and take care of when it came across certain people. And I'd have to say, when it comes down to it, I look up to her for it, with as weird as she can be sometimes. But yeah, she showed me that women can be strong, and then it kind of stemmed into watching like DC animated movies where Wonder Woman first appeared. That's where I first saw her, was an animated cartoon, and it just kind of went from there.
All right. I mean, it is cool, like I said, that all of us kind of impacted in a different way. Pixie,
Mhm.
you started with the older horror movies that inevitably led into Wonder Woman, that's inevitably led into gaming and all of that. Zero had his way with some of the live action movies, leading
But
into life examples from his mom that led into Wonder Woman. Me with the comics, and it's such a fun thing with this universe that we like having people like you, Pixie, and anybody else, because everybody has a story and everyone has a universe that they've grown up with, and to see how it shaped them and show them this love for this is such a fun history lesson in on its own.
Yeah,
yeah,
and it definitely it definitely shaped a lot of, even I may not even stream at this point if it wasn't for Wonder Woman,
Mm-hmm.
because like the whole point when I started streaming, I don't really know if it's that necessary of a point now in my journey, but like when I started streaming, it was because I was caught up in PvP games and I was damn good at them. And but it became this struggle of every single time I would win something or would help out with a match, etc. It would be a man on the other end going, "Get back in the kitchen. Why are you here?" Or they would insult your intelligence or your looks or whatever needed to be done, whatever, just ragers in general.
Mm-hmm.
And it became really unhealthy. But like when I started streaming, it was more or less to showcase the fact that not real gamer girls really do exist, and we love it just as much. And the gaming world is not a man's world, and you don't have to have boy parts to be good with a digital gun
oh, and
and
I
stuff
can
like that.
definitely agree with you on that. I can definitely agree.
Yeah. And so I think it's that it was that strong independence and stuff like that that I was taught very, very early on that made it important for me to be a part of that stigma change.
I
Like
agree wholeheartedly.
I know one of the strong females I met through gaming. She was a guild master on Elder Scrolls Online for me a couple of years ago, and she inspired me to be better at the game, to learn how things work, to do things for other people more often, because that's how that community ended up treating others. Was It's kind of surprising how out of a lot of these MMO games, this happened to be one that had a fantastic community straight from the get go. I didn't understand that at first, and I ended up falling in love with the game. And unfortunately, the guild isn't around anymore. But if I ever get to speak to her again, I'm gonna have to say thank you.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Miss Pixie, before we move on to our topic for you, do you have any questions for Zero or I that you're curious about? Can be anything what we've talked about or anything that you haven't heard yet.
Not yet, but I'm bound to.
Alrighty. Well, with that, I think we've been able to have all of you guys get to know Pixie very well, which was indeed the plan. Let us move right into our subjects that we got going on. And we are covering for Pixie the history of Wonder Woman, because it is a vast majority of information. It's almost going on 100 years. In 2 years, it's
80.
going to be 100 years of Wonder Woman. I want you guys to think that.
Is it in 2 years?
Oh wait, say hand. No, sorry. 95 years is next year.
I was gonna say. I think your math's a little off.
Yeah. 95 years in 2025 will be 90, 85, somewhere in there. But 95 years of comics. I want you guys to think about that.
Man.
We don't maths. No, we do not do maths. No. Especially me. Especially when I have to deal with years. I don't do maths.
Speak for yourself. I don't do English.
So, for me, what we've done for this subject is we've taken kind of cliff notes about the creation of these characters, so that way we have them, that we can kind of go over them with all of you guys, and if there's any questions that haven't been answered, we can do our best to answer them as well, because there is a lot of information for Wonder Woman that has existed in this time. So on my part, I will go kind of with the creation of Wonder Woman. And Wonder Woman was created in the golden age of comics, which was from 1935 to 1941 was her first appearance. She was created by a guy named William Moulton Martin. His pen name, which was more than likely on the comics, I believe, I think I have some in here, is Charles Moulton, and created by artist Harry G. Peer. Martin created Wonder Woman, like we talked about earlier, because he wanted to fight the stereotype of women, which was typically the damsel in distress, and he was tired of that. And as we said earlier, comics didn't have really powerful women, and they wanted to show and promote more powerful women in that situation. So to quote him, I have this quote, and I thought it was good. "Not even girls want to be girls so long as our female archetype lacks force, strength, and power. The obvious remedy is to create a female character with the power of Superman, plus the allure of a good and beautiful woman." And I think that was a great thing to do, because, as we said, back then in the 40s and the 30s, Wonder Woman, or women weren't just represented very well. It was, you go to school, find a man, have babies, clean my house, make food, pop the babies out. That's what it was. And Marston was not happy with that. He wanted women need to be represented. So what happened with him is, when he was working on this, because he was a psychologist, he had his wife, who was, her name's Liv Holloway. She was a lawyer, and he ended up having a mistress, Pixie. This was that information I warned you about earlier. And he had a mistress. They fell in love, and he told his wife, "I love her just as much as I love you. You can either stay with us or you can leave." And they all ended up becoming life partners. And I think he had 4 kids with both of them. But he says that his credit to create Wonder Woman was both of his wife and his mistress. And the reason, and I know it sounds messed up, but the reason he did that was because, yes, holy matrimony, some people are polygamous and all of that, and they love multiple people and polygamy and all of that, but he was impressed with the strength of those situations, of having the kids, living together, finding a way to push past all of that, and they inevitably loved each other. So there's your early introduction to that was not very common fact at the time, that the creation of Wonder Woman was credited to those 2 women, which could be sweet, but at the same time is a little messed up.
A little bit.
Just a little bit.
Hey, consent is key. So if they were both down, who am I to judge, right?
Exactly. I mean, obviously.
Yeah. That's what I was amazed about, is that they were both down for that.
Obviously, his wife could have left, but I guess she was down with it. I do have it, put it in here. that they did make a movie about all this. So you can, because I don't want to spend too much time on his whole thing with all of this. But if you want to watch a movie that came out that covered all of that, that his mindset of how all this happened, how the creation was, there's a movie came out in 2017 called Professor Marston and the Wonder Woman. And you can watch that. It's out. They made a movie about it, and it had all the facts and situations in that, so you can see the creative process of where it happened, and learn from that there, because there's a lot on that whole creation process behind that too, and there's not something I'm going into today.
That's very interesting. They made a movie about it. I honestly, it kind of gives me weird thoughts on how you found that film. What were you looking up?
Actually, it was a movie promoted for a different DC movie. I think it was a Superman.
Okay, I thought you were looking up something completely something we can't talk about
Ha
on this podcast.
You're so funny. But no, it was a weird top fact, but they did make the movie because of how weird the situation worked out and how it created that character. But I mean, it's one of those situations where a messed up situation created something that was, I guess you could say, a positive in the end.
Yeah,
But
I mean, yeah, they were both down. It's cool.
they were both down. I mean, you can't say no. And I think I said I read it somewhere that when they had census takers come to the house, they told that the mistress name was Olive. They told the census takers that they were the widowed sister-in-law. Yeah, this was in the 50s. This was in the 50s that this happened. And they said it wasn't until like 61 or something like that that all of the kids that he fathered, even though he lived in the house, that Olive's kids never knew that he was their father until like the 60s.
Even the ones that with the woman he was married to? That makes no sense.
No, none of the kids knew that he was the father to the mistress's kids until she told. They told them and said, "You will never tell anybody about this anytime soon." Yeah, it is very taboo at the time, and that's why it was kind of hush-hush about it at the time, but if you're down, man, you're down. Love is love, I guess.
You gotta be free.
And I did have some quotes that I thought, Pixie, you would find these fun for the old days that were there. This was a quote that was on the front of one of the first Wonder Woman comics, which is, "She left Paradise Island to fight fascism with feminism in America," which did lead into World War II. I saw someone asked about that. She was used to help fight in the war. She showed all of that. They did have pinup works. I think it was Rosie Rivet was her name. That's the popular female poster of
Rosie the Riveter. Yeah.
That was based off of Wonder Woman. That helped launch that. And then another one to show that, the fight, the female empowerment, was a quote saying, "Great girdles of Aphrodite, I am tired of being tied up." I do say I miss the days of those old catchphrases, because that one was just, I was giggling the whole time and laughing at "Great girdle of Aphrodite." All I could think was All I could think is Adam West Batman. "Gee Willikers, Batman, they took the bat plane. We must get the bat fly swatter, Robin." See, guys, these are the days we need back for comics. Just give us some good old moments. Just some good old catchphrases. Marvel did it good with Luke Cage because they were able to go "Sweet Christmas" with Luke Cage at one point, which makes no sense in the middle of a city, but hey.
After I got done watching that show, I said that shit all the time. I kept catching myself thinking, why am I saying this?
So her Wonder Woman's first comic appearance was in All-Star Comics Issues 8, published October 21st, 1941, and her first solo feature was in Sensations Comics Issue 1, published in January of 1942, and from that point in 1942, DC has almost continuously published Wonder Woman comics from that branch point. And what I mean by almost is there's been some breaks where they've stopped publishing Wonder Woman comics, or they've done in 2011 they did what was called the reboot, the Rebirth New 52, where they took certain characters and they rebooted their storylines. Wonder Woman was one of them because her original story, which was canon from the Golden Age up to the Bronze Age, which was 1936 all the way up to 1986, was she was sculpted from clay by her mother, Queen Hippolyta.
Hippolyta. Gotta say it right.
Queen Hippolyta.
Oh, man.
And she was given life as an Amazonian, and she was bestowed superhuman powers by 4 Greek gods who helped create her. That got rebooted. It got rebooted in 2011, where they changed it, where she was no longer made from clay, but they changed it so that she was the biological child of Zeus and the Queen.
Zeus did get around.
Zeus
They
did
just
get
made it
around.
worse.
I think it was. I don't know why they changed it really per se. I could probably dig through the internet and find that article why they changed that. I don't think they really needed to though, because Wonder Woman being made from clay showed, look, the gods made her to be this perfect gift to the Queen of the Amazons, who were loyal followers of goddess Artemis of the Hunt, and that she was bestowed with these gifts, but she's still vulnerable, but she can be used as your leading example. I feel like when you reboot it to make it, she's a demigod, it just kind of doesn't make it any fun anymore, you know what I mean? Because then at that point, you're a demigod, there's no limitation on what powers you can have.
Yeah, like of course you can do that, whatever.
And I can see that point. Yeah, the original origin story is probably more interesting, but you got to think too. The Greek gods acted very human all the time. Like Zeus got around. We all know this. He got around like crazy. It fits more within the, I guess you could say, lore of the Greek gods, that he got around. Yeah, the Amazons followed him, and he's like, "Oh, I can take advantage of this," and then, oh, boom, there's Wonder Woman.
Diminish the woman aspect a little bit.
Yeah, and you know, it just kind of sucks that they did that though, because like you said, yeah, you can explain it with the Greek gods and all of that, but you still don't need to. It was created in a way in the 40s that she was a gift to the Queen for her loyal following to the gods. Here is your daughter. She wasn't created. She was a child. She was raised as a child and grew up. But it was also kind of one of those, like, hey, there's a limitation of what she can do. If she pushes herself, she can slowly gain abilities, but there's still a limitation. And now it's just like, I think we talked about it, we'll cover it later, that now she's immortal, and she has near limitless potential of how far she can go. And once you do that with a comic character without a proper explanation, it just becomes boring.
Yeah.
And Wonder Woman was that one that didn't need that limitless potential. She could reach a peak, and she was already extremely high at her peak. And when she was at that peak and goes, I need to be stronger, she was given a reason of why she needed to be stronger.
I think they kind of wanted to follow the lore aspect in a similar way to how Hercules was kind of like put up as, I got this limitless potential because he's the son of a god type thing, and they wanted to keep kind of closer to like the Greek lore. But I mean, yeah, they could have kept the original story and it's still been interesting, but I think they changed it because they wanted it to be more realistic, I guess.
Well, Pixie, I don't think you read comics. I think you just like following some of the stories, correct?
Well, I mean, that's where it started. I have read some of the comics, yeah.
Okay. So the New 52, the reason they did that whole reboot was because they felt like it was getting stale. So they wanted to reboot the whole universe, and that lasted from 2011 to 2017, and then they went back to what they destroyed.
Yeah. Well, I mean, I feel like with everything amazing, whether it be comics or because I was more into manga. I'm not gonna lie. That's why I haven't read some of them, but and definitely not anything new.
Mhm.
Uh, but with everything, you should only take it so far. If you probably think of over a dozen movies or franchises that they should have stopped while it was good and stuff like that. And it's not that I want necessarily the whole Wonder Woman thing to stop. It's just um, I always hope that they make the decision to keep the legacy where it belongs,
Mhm.
if that makes any sense. Because some changes are just really bad,
Exactly.
especially right now. Like, I mean, the world for women has changed a lot. um, equality among the sexes is in a much better place. So it kind of sucks that they did that because it I feel like it kind of went a little backwards there. Um, like it was better that though if unless I didn't understand was it like it was male gods that made her from clay or no?
So yeah, so it was the queen uh asked the gods, is like, I want a child, I can't have a child, basically. Bless me with a child, I've been a loyal follower, give me this boon, this gift, and the gods gave her that gift of the child, which was Wonder Woman. And so she was able to have a child as a gift from there. But it's kind of like you have to look at it with a grain of salt in a way, because Greek gods lore and mythology is so weird.
It
Um,
is.
but there's basically go, well, we took this clay, you made a clay figure of a child, so we're going to give it life, and the child will be birthed from the clay of our essence, basically. So it is your child, but it's also created from us.
Okay.
So it was still kind of a way that, if you think about it, in the earlier comics, it was still before the feminism movement, because it's like, oh, you did a good job, thank you for following our rules, here's a gift. And then when Wonder Woman kind of grew up and showed that she was different in that time frame, even her mom's going, you are strong, you can do all of this. And even her origin story, it has stayed the same no matter where you go, of why she left the island, because she met Steve, she leaves the island to follow Steve. Different versions of that story shows different outcomes for all of it. But it's always the same, that she pretty much leaves the island for him. Uh,
Hmm.
and then she kind of sees how society is, and doesn't get enough with it. There's a comic line where inevitably she joins the Justice League, Justice Society of America, and she gets the job as their secretary.
Yeah.
And,
Oh
and
my
they
god,
make her the
that was
secretary,
horrible.
and then she sits there, goes, "Yeah, I'm not dealing with this crap." And she shows she's stronger, just as strong, if not stronger, than the rest of them. And they go, "Okay, we were wrong. I apologize on that." And they make her a full-fledged member.
Hmm.
So even
That's
back
good.
then, the comics were just kind of all over the place. Where as the comics progressed, you kind of saw it change, even to the point of the gods are going, well, we gave you life, we could take it away. You should do what we tell you to do. Or you could look at it in different terminology of, um, female submission. You submit to the better power. She's like, forget that. You gave me life, but I don't believe in that type of life. If this is the life, you might as well just take it. And she fought the gods, and she's whooped their ass.
She told him to pull up. That's
Hell
right.
yeah! There's a point where I think even in the current comic line, she's actually now replaced Ares as the god of war.
Well, it depends on which iteration you're talking about.
Yeah, because there is very multiple iterations of that character. But to get back on that, on the original Wonder Woman, when they were given the gifts to help create her, the quote in the comic was, "She was as beautiful as Aphrodite, wise as Athena, swifter than Hermes, and stronger than Hercules." Which translated to that is she had godly beauty, she was super smart, super speed, and super strength. At the time frame of that, which was the golden age of comics, she was considered to be as strong as Golden Age Superman, the first iteration of Superman. To say how strong she was, it's said that she, in the earlier times, she could bench press 15,000 pounds before she even got her bracelets that doubled her strength.
So she could carry all the groceries in one trip.
Hell yeah, she could. Yeah, even
God, I wish I could do that.
Then they said she was later able to lift a 50,000-pound boulder over her head, and she did that to show the other Amazons that, hey, raise your morale. You can pass this, because the Amazons in DC Comics had a test that you have to take this test, and if you don't pass the test, you can't become a full-fledged Amazon. So there's people that were afraid of that morale, that they didn't think they could do it, even though they trained their whole life for it. And this was her showing them, you can do it if you put your mind to it. You can do anything. Do not listen to this, because the island of the paradise, there was no men. It was all women. It was paradise to them, because they were able to do what they wanted to do. They were able to lead their own society.
Definitely sounds like a good vacation spot.
Well, if you watch Harley Quinn, the animated series, they made it to a vacation spot. They turned it to a spa, but that was only because they stopped the bad guy.
Ah, yes.
Sick, there probably is cheeseburgers in paradise. A Wonder Woman, an Amazon, to explain that in modern day society, would be someone about my height, who's about the 6-foot range, who weighs about 300 plus pounds of pure muscle. So the amount of food that an Amazon has to take in for how much they work is ridiculous. Think of like when you see the animated series of The Flash. His metabolism is so fast that he has to constantly eat to make up for it. That is how much food that an Amazon technically has to eat to keep up what their body is exerting.
I don't know why, but as soon as you said that, I thought Futurama Death by Snoo Snoo.
That's an Amazon. That's an Amazonian. Yeah.
I was like, that's a horrible comparison, but it just made me laugh inside.
Well, but you say it's a horrible comparison, because I understand the whole joke, but that was a proper representation of an Amazon. That it was tall, super strong. They don't put up with shit. Man makes a joke, I'm gonna hit man with a hammer.
Yeah, essentially so. Or just, I'm gonna punch the shit out of you.
Yeah. And Amazons at the time were, which Wonder Woman comics were promoting female empowerment. You are strong enough to be just as strong, if not better, than a man. And that's what they did. That is what the Amazon tribe was there to show. Not just Wonder Woman. It's like, look, this island, we run peacefully. We do all this stuff. We focus. We can become smart people. We can become intelligent. Look at our feats of what we can do. She goes into the real world, sees during World War II, all women are just secretaries, all of this stuff. Like I said earlier, she became the secretary to the Justice Society of America and said, forget that.
Yeah.
She said, "Forget that. I'm better than a lot of you guys." And I think they actually fought Wonder Woman fought Superman, and they were equal grounds. And and at the time, if you're equal grounds to Superman, you might as well just go, "Yeah, you're good. You're good.
Yeah,
I
no
trust
shit.
you. Don't do anything wrong." She also, in an early appearance, and I know at the time now this doesn't seem like it's very fast, but in the earlier comics back in the 40s, it's said that she was uh, easily shown running 60 miles an hour and able to jump from tall buildings and land on the balls of her feet. I use that as a quote because that's how it was explained. I can't say how tall the building is because a comic can make a tall building actually seem it's 2 stories, the Empire State Building. But the time frame, what was Superman's thing? Faster than a speeding bullet, more powerful than a locomotive train, I think is what it was.
Leap tall buildings in a single bound.
Yeah. So
Yeah.
that was Wonder Woman's comparison of what Superman could do, she could do. So it was very interesting to see it. Do you have any questions right now, Miss Pixie? I know this is an interesting one for how we're doing this.
Yeah, no, it's fantastic. I'm getting quite educated.
Uh,
So far, I'm good.
so another thing that she had, which you don't really see in the modern comics, um, is she had an array of mental and physical powers. Uh, sorry, mental and psychic powers. And the reason she had those is those were homages to the creator for being a psychologist, and he loved psychohistory and all that. He loved all that. So she had the abilities of ESP, astral projection, telepathy, mental control over the electricity in her body, which was she was a it was an Amazon ability that she was able to turn brain energy into muscle power. Do not ask me how that works in any sense of the word. I do not know, but that is I would like to chalk it up to you're telling your brain I'm stronger than I need to be right now, and your brain's accepting that fact and telling your body you can do it.
Yeah, and like electricity through the human body. I mean, it's a thing. I didn't know they knew about it then.
Yeah. Yeah. The stuff the stuff that was known back then is so interesting because you're not gonna they're not a lot of places won't cover about a lot of that stuff. You have to be in that section of knowing it. You got to go down the rabbit hole and you'll be go holy crap.
Yeah, I
Yeah.
mean, it kind of almost makes me feel like a little closer to Wonder Woman, to be honest, because I kind of have this thing where I like my body chemistry has always been quite off. I can't even wear watches. I will fry them.
Mm-hmm.
Like I had a cordless phone that I talked on too much as a kid. It stopped working after 2 months. I had a Furby that I completely fried because I couldn't keep my hands off of it. And stuff like that. And that's the only reason why I know that's a thing, is because I had to be tested.
I didn't even know someone could fry a Furby by just touching it. So thank you for getting rid of one evil demon out of this world.
Yeah. I'm no Amazon though. I'm 5 foot nothing. But yeah, that's okay.
But there's nothing wrong with that. You know, I'll tell you this right now. My wife is five
You
foot.
don't gotta be tall to be powerful, that's for sure.
Hell no, you don't. My wife is 5'2" and she can still kick my ass.
Hey, dynamite comes in small packages.
Yep. Yes, it does. Yes, it does.
Call them fun sized.
Yes.
So another thing that she had, Wonder Woman became immune to electric shocks after having her spirit stripped from her atoms by Dr. Psycho's electro atomizer.
Goodness.
I would show you a picture if I could find it, but I want to say, holy crap. I didn't know who Dr. Psycho was. I think I knew a little bit, but the only one I really focus on is the one from Wonder Woman where he's just he's just an asshole. And
He's just a smart guy that's like, ah!
Well, he's a smart guy and he's stuck in the ways, and even Wonder Woman in there points it out, going, "Hey, we're not in the 40s anymore. You can't talk to women like that anymore. We're better than that." Let's see, what else did I have? Her Amazon training ability gave her limited telepathy, profound scientific knowledge, the ability to speak every language, including caveman and Martian languages.
Caveman.
Yes, which was Zero and I. We talked about this before the podcast, and
God.
we got a lot of explanations that we would love to know. How the hell did they learn cavemen?
How did they learn Martian? How in the heck did they gift her with Martian language? I want to know.
Yeah, I mean, well, I mean, if the island was existent even since then, I guess I could see the caveman, but the Martian thing kind of stumps me.
Well, see, we'd have to break that down because the only thing we could think of is if you look at the gods existed in the comics, so the gods are all explained that every god's existed from the birth of time, blah blah blah. So does that mean that the gods were omnipotent enough that they knew about those languages and they taught all of the gods, and then the gods taught the Amazonians?
I mean, it could be possible if you think of it that way. Maybe there were some Martians before they went extinct or nearly extinct that worshipped the Greek gods.
Well, see,
Yeah.
you got to look at it too in that DC point of, Martian Manhunter is a great Martian example. They had their own deities. I like to feel like all the deities were kind of like that scene from Thor: Love and Thunder, where they go to talk to the Greek gods and they have the whole council of all the gods are sitting there. I like to feel like they have a quarterly meeting. Like all the gods in the DC universe have a quarterly meeting and go, all right, who wants to teach language to what? Oh, Darkseid's coming? Well, we got to get out of here. Let our grunts deal with it. We're out.
Yeah, we're just going to sit here in our meeting hall. We don't care.
Yeah. Who ordered Chinese food,
I'm imagining it happened so quickly, like Fifth Element style. She just watches the TV for 45 minutes. She knows all about history. Like,
see, it was so, because I don't have I have some of her comics from back then. I inherited them, but I can't find anything where it is saying that her Amazonian training gave her all of this. But I don't know where they would show, and even in animated or live actions, we've just seen, here's the physical training field, that's the library, let me pull out one scroll, and you'll never know how many scrolls are in there. And I agree with you, it's like they sit in there for 45 minutes a day, and then all of a sudden, after like a week, they know everything?
Yeah,
50s, man, we don't question it, they just have it.
We just gave you Martian language. It's okay.
The Silver and Bronze Age, which came to... Oh, I skipped one. I'm sorry. In 1966 and 67, she gained the ability of super breath. Which, Pixie, do you know what that is?
I hope it's not morning breath. I hope it's good. Like, she breathes roses? What?
Do you remember in the Linda Carter live-action Wonder Woman show, where she would see the bad guys and she would puff up her cheeks and she would blow and they'd fall down? That's super breath. Yes. That is super breath. I don't know how you feel, but I feel like, I don't know if she still has it in today's society, but if they took it away, I don't think I would object. I don't think I would object if they did take it away, only because I don't know if I could take that seriously as a reader in that fight. You know what I mean? She's already strong enough she can punch someone if they get close enough and fling them back. I don't need to see you blow a gust of air to fling them back.
Like Pixie was saying, you know, if you don't take care of yourself with proper hygiene, it could be super morning breath.
Yeah, just knock them out cold, honestly.
Let's just knock them out. Don't worry about it. They will go down, but it'll be on the pure breath of death.
Well, and that makes me think now. One of her super villains is Cheetah. Does she have super smell? Because that'd be really bad.
Cheetah's thing, if I remember correctly, which is, I believe, Wonder Woman's arch nemesis.
Yes.
She has all the abilities of a cheetah, so she has all the super scent and all that stuff. So yes, if they had super morning breath, then she would probably keel over.
Yes, the secret weapon.
But I almost want to dissect that now, because since Wonder Woman is a demigod in the modern society, but she's made out of clay and made to be perfect, they've never shown anybody really having to brush their teeth if they're like that. So does that mean that she permanently never has morning breath?
Her breath smells like roses.
Yeah, it's lavender and roses.
Yeah, well, it's Aphrodite, man. I would assume that Wonder Woman never has to brush her teeth. Not to mention, I don't know if she can ever get drunk.
That's a good
Well, that's
question.
not fun.
I don't think it is fun, and it sucks.
Yeah. Who? Oh man, I couldn't live without being drunk once in a while. Come on.
Go ahead.
Oh, I was about to say you still haven't got to my my favorite weapon of hers. So I'm just.
Oh, I'm getting there. These aren't even her weapons. These are just her early powers. These are her early ability powers. And another one, which I think Zero got a chance to look forward, see the other stuff. I don't know if it is there or not, but in the Silver and Bronze Age, which was that 56 to 85, they gave her the ability that she could take off her bracers and it would temporarily increase her powers tenfold, but it would slowly cause her to go berserk. And to Zero, I know you brought this up earlier, the bracers that she had are called the bracers of submission. And they are still called that. Now, I can understand, yes, it's the whole BDSM thing, because early Wonder Woman had boob physics, it had the BDSM things always tied up in the wrong spots. And we can't avoid that history fact because it's there. But the bracers of submission if you look at it, they're called that way to suppress her powers. Because she, even though in this, at the time, if it's going to make her slowly go insane because it's too much power that is tenfolding it, it's suppressing those powers so she doesn't go insane, so she's be put down. In the modern day comics, they have it that she has her bracers, and it allows her to control her godly side powers being a demigod. But when she takes them off, she has full access to her powers, but she can't handle them very well. She gets overloaded quickly. There was one point I found something that said that she fought the goddess Aphrodite in modern comics, took her braces off, and the fight ended in 30 seconds or something like that. And she put them back on because she goes, I can't handle that power for too
long. That must have been a lot for 30 seconds.
Well, yeah, because that's where you're going with the different things. Where, again, New 52, which is the 2011, after all it's the modern age of comics. You took away all this stuff that she gained this abilities like, oh, you take these powers away, but they'll kill her if she uses them too much because she's not used to it. Whereas in the older one, she's wearing the bracers, takes them off. You can temporarily increase your powers, but you're slowly going to go berserk unless you put them on. And she feels it going berserk. And I feel like that was kind of something I wish they would have kept. Because if they did, it would show the ramifications.
Yeah.
I'm sorry, what was that, Zero?
I'm sorry. I hate it when I interrupt people. Yeah, they didn't really keep it as far as I know, because if they had, I think it would have came up in some later iterations of stories she was involved in.
And then last for her powers, Pixie, for the older one. So there was Pre-Crisis, which was an old comic line called Crisis on Infinite Earths, where they crossed in the multiverses and whatnot. So those were all her pre-crisis powers. After post-crisis, she gained blessing from other deities for the Greeks. So she got Demeter, who's the goddess of agriculture, uh, gave her the strength to draw upon the earth spirit Gaia. This allowed her strength to even battle Superman and Supergirl, and also allowed her to hold her own against the god Darkseid. And now, granted, again, as I said, that it changed with the reboot, so now they put it, we don't know how strong she can be now because of that. She gained Pallas Athena, which obviously goddess of war. Uh, Her gift enabled her to master a dozen languages and all of that, military strategies, everything like that. Artemis gave her ability at this point too, which allowed her to communicate with animals, including dinosaurs. That has to be stated. Apparently, she can talk to dinosaurs.
She was born after they died, so okay, that's useful.
And then she also gave her the Eyes of the Hunter, which allows her to see at full range of enhanced senses, including telescope vision and super hearing. Then she got Hermes. She gave her the super speed that allowed her to dodge, deflect bullets, lasers, projectiles, and all that stuff. And it gave her the ability of flight, but they took that away in 2011.
They took the flight away?
They took the flight away. Yep.
Oh, I could swear they gave it back.
And then Pixie, because I know you're excited about this one. I know this is one of them. After post-crisis, she gained a gift from the goddess of hearth and home, and she was granted the ability, the Sisterhood of Fire, which this power has been called the Control of Truth, which when she wields her lasso of truth, when she wraps it around people, it makes it the people that are wrapped around with the lasso are unable to lie. And
we all need one of those.
Yes. So that lasso, because of that ability after post-crisis, gave her that ability. It also gained her the ability to resistance to both natural and normal and supernatural fire. But I did have that. Yes, her equipment that she had at the time, the lasso of truth, force is super strong. It forces people never to lie when they wear it, although Batman can. There's a comic where he did.
How?
There's a comic.
Oh, he's able to lie his way through the lasso? Yeah.
There's a comic, and you can look this clip up, I'll find it later, that when they're finding the Justice League, or something was going on, she goes, talking to Superman and Batman, because I want to know our real names. I want to trust each other. She goes, I am Diana Prince, or Wonder Woman from Themyscira. And Superman goes, Clark Kent, I'm Superman. And Batman goes, I'm Batman. Because
it's not a lie.
It is not a lie. It is a legit thing. Batman is strong enough to beat the lasso.
That's so messed up. He's not a superhero. He's a rich guy with toys.
He's
got such mental training, mentally strong training with willpower that he can outwit it.
Yes, but then you have to look at it too. If down to Bruce Wayne's core, that he believes Bruce Wayne is the alter ego and Batman is the real Bruce Wayne, then that means he was telling the truth at that time.
So he didn't beat it.
Depends on how you look at it, because there's other things too that Batman has beaten things that he shouldn't be able to beat. I think he became God at one point too.
He sat in the Mobius chair for a while, and he was the god of knowledge.
He was the god of knowledge and he only asked like 3 questions. I think one was
my favorite question. Hold on, because he did ask who killed his parents because he wanted to test it and see if it would be right, and it told him.
Joe, chill.
Then Yeah, and it told him that, and he's like, okay, yeah, okay, I know that. Now tell me, what's the Joker's real identity? And the chair goes, which one?
Yeah, because there's
He's
three
like, what?
Jokers in existence.
And that led to a whole new crazy line.
But yes, so she has the lasso. She has the bracers of submission that are indestructible, and in the older comics, she could deflect stuff with that and obviously take them off to increase her powers. And the newer comics, which you see in the Wonder Woman movie, she has that ability of she can clash them together and she can make that a destructive blast, and that's supposed to be from her gift from her father of the destructive force of Zeus.
Thunderclap.
Yeah, so that's pretty much what that is. She has her golden tiara that she can throw and it will return. Although I don't know if it's gold anymore. I think it's silver.
I think so.
She does have the invisible jet. That still exists. And yes, it is still just as bad as it was back in the day.
Yeah, it wasn't my favorite part.
It was the most questionable part. The most questionable part of anything for Wonder Woman was the invisible jet.
Yeah, I'm feeling like she could get where she needed to go without it, honestly. But it's fine.
Especially when they gave her the power of flight. Do you really need it?
And I believe she has a sword now.
Yes, she has a magic sword, I think, forged by Hephaestus.
The Sword of Athena. It's an incredibly sharp and durable weapon, shows no apparent damage after she uses it. It's likely magical in nature. And it is able to wound Superman and Doomsday, and it also cuts off Doomsday's arm at one point. So damn.
Well, I mean, it helps that one of Superman's two weaknesses is magic.
Oh, it's called the God Killer. That's the name of the sword.
That's how you do it right there.
But yeah, so she's had her moments in that past point of going, hey, you know, she joined the Justice Society, showed she's just as strong at that point. She's had her villains. She's fought Darkseid. She's helped fight Reverse Flash. She's fought Cheetah, Dr. Psycho, and all that. And the older comics, even though she was a powerhouse hitter, she really didn't. There wasn't that many key comics that got to stand out for her, like in big key moments. Still, in my opinion, there was still some good moments where it's like, oh yeah, I cut off Doomsday's arm and stuff like that, but they didn't get a chance to do what she's been able to do in the modern day stuff. It wasn't until really like the 70s or 80s that she really got to go up against all these people, like heavy hitters, and whoop their ass. Do you have any questions for me on that, Miss Pixie?
You're very thorough.
Yeah, we tell everybody that we do our homework, and they don't believe us.
You do.
So sometimes they'll sit there and go, "Oh, you just kind of do this." I was like, "No, we're very thorough."
Well, we do our best to. I mean, we suffered from procrastination this past 2 weeks, so.
Well, I mean, like, the only question I've had so far was the Batman thing, and I kind of blurted that shit out. So, I guess we're good.
Well, let's put it this way: he's smart enough to just outwit it.
But no, I mean from the golden to the Bronze Age of Wonder Woman was a lot. She had her abilities. She showed her strength over and over. Showed she could, as that point being a gift, that she could get stronger of sure willpower, be able to show this, had her repercussions. And out of the Wonder Womans that existed, I want to say that era was probably my favorite, just because the sheer willpower of what she was able to do. And then after that, obviously the modern day society Wonder Woman, born from Zeus and the Queen, and now demigod and training abilities. So she still has these abilities, but they're not nowhere near as exciting of how she earns them. and then Zero on this point will take over for the modern stuff, and what we have Elseworld, which Elseworld Superman is
Wonder Woman, not Superman, but okay.
sorry, Elseworld Wonder Woman, sorry. That is from different universes or different realities of different styles of her.
I guess I'll start off with continuing off of you with the main Wonder Woman. As of right now, she's currently missing from the main storyline in comics because in the Death Metal storyline, she actually fused herself with her lasso of truth and became a deity herself. In order to fight an evil deity, that there's a villain called the Batman Who Laughs. I don't know if you've heard of him, Pixie. But the Batman Who Laughs is essentially an evil Batman from an alternate universe that acts like the Joker but has the willpower and the smarts of Batman. And he became a dark deity and took over the universe and was killing left and right, wanted to make the universe and multiverse in his image. Well, she figured out a way to fuse herself with her lasso and gain the power of a deity like he did. And when they fought, there was a decision to be made whether she joins with him to recreate the universe or attempt to kill him to save what they had left. Well, it was a hard decision at first because he was very convincing, because Batman can be convincing, but she ultimately ended up winning, but just barely. And the deities that oversaw the creation of the multiverse, they're called the Hands, ended up speaking with her and took her with them. So she effectively became a hand of God, and now is missing from the comics. She's an all-powerful deity at this moment. So that's like the ending to like the main continuity Wonder Woman at this moment, but they said she's going to return in a few months' time. So we'll see what happens. But do you have any questions?
Feeling like she deserves to be the hand of God.
One of them. There are multiple.
I think so. I mean, she's in modern comics and everything else. She's gone through a lot of hell, and she's still come out on top. That she's shown that she deserves it.
Especially defeating probably one of the most evil villains that DC Comics has ever come up with, being the Batman Who Laughs. What was it? Have you ever heard of the hero from the Watchmen called Dr. Manhattan?
Yes.
Okay, and how godlike and powerful he is?
Mm-hmm.
Well, DC recently acquired the Watchmen, and they are integrated into the DC universe. They had a whole story where Superman fought Manhattan, and Manhattan messed with their timeline. Well, it turns out the Batman Who Laughs figured out in an alternate universe, Bruce Wayne became Dr. Manhattan. So he was able to steal that version of himself's powers, and that's how he became a godlike being himself. And they called him the Darkest Knight. So it was an evil Batman who had the power of Dr. Manhattan. She proved herself with how heroic she could be in every trial and tribulation she went through, saving the multiverse by killing an evil version of a bat god. So I'd say she deserved it for sure.
Just rewards.
Oh yeah. Because I guess they needed her for a supposed bigger threat that was coming, which I don't know how much bigger you can get than a hand of God themselves, but hey, I mean, we'll see what happens.
Yeah. Yeah. I don't know. This might change my mind. Maybe I'll watch the movie.
You haven't seen the movies?
No, because I like Linda Carter.
And see, I can.
Oh, go ahead.
Go ahead. Go ahead. No, you're fine. You're fine. Go ahead.
I was just gonna say that I think she did a good job. That first Wonder Woman movie was really great.
Oh my God, yeah.
It's more out of fear because I don't know. It's like I was afraid they were gonna mess it up, you know.
I don't think they did at all. They really did not mess that up. It was a good Wonder Woman story. It was a good Wonder Woman movie. It did very good. The second one had some moments that you kind of wanted better, but I still think both Wonder Woman movies were very good for Wonder Woman.
I would have to say they're definitely worth a watch. The first one more so than the second one. Me personally, I have fights with critics all the time. That I'm not saying you are. I'm just saying, like, I have a cousin who's a critic that doesn't watch the content or look at the content, and he criticizes it. It's like, dude, you got to at least watch it once before you make a just opinion.
Oh yeah, like I don't bash it at all. I honestly I haven't really even got many opinions about it. I just was scared to be disappointed, I guess. But I will say the outfit change I have seen and don't hate. Um, like even my Wonder Woman cape back there, like that's out of the new one.
Mm.
And I like it. I kind of have a little bit of an aversion to gold, so that was the part of the outfit I never really cared for. So I'm good with silver, and stuff like that. I was afraid of them kind of fucking up the whole um, image and what Wonder Woman represented as Linda Carter and everything else. But I mean, I I haven't given it a chance, and I have to be honest about that.
I would say definitely give it a chance. Sit through it one time and see if you like it. I think, in my opinion, the first one is way better than the second one. The second one was good, but I feel like I'm I'm out of place with it. I mean, once you watch it, you kind of formulate your own opinion, and you're gonna have a strong aversion to gold in that one. I can guarantee you there. But go ahead and at least give the first one a try. Have you seen what was it, Batman versus Superman, where she first showed up?
No, I have been remiss. I never have time for TV.
Pixie, I'm gonna send you a list, and you're gonna have homework. And,
Deal.
and your next appearance as a guest will be you going over this homework and telling us your opinions.
Okay, fair.
And then we can have a debate about Wonder Woman. I would greatly enjoy
Then we can have our debate about DC stuff.
Yes, I will. I will make sure to start a watch party and get some friends in on it. Keep me company.
Oh, that sounds pretty fun. But yeah, definitely give the first Wonder Woman a try. Her first ever appearance in the DCU before they rebooted it with James Gunn was in Batman vs Superman. I would say that one's worth a try because it establishes her character.
Mhm.
I think you can skip past the second Wonder Woman film and not give two craps about it, in my opinion. But it's up to you if you wanted to watch it.
Yeah, we'll see. We'll see. I guess if I'm brave enough to do the first one, we'll see how I feel at the end of that one, and see if I want to test the waters a bit. Especially, I can think of at least two people who would watch this with me, and I don't know if they can handle not continuing it.
I'm the same way. I start something, I have to finish it.
Well, I'm clinically diagnosed OCD, my dude. I'm probably not going to do any better.
Zero, you can't tell her not to watch the second one because he has the most important person in that thing on that. They have Pedro Pascal on it. She has to watch it.
Oh, Pascal. Well, I guess you could watch it for him if you like him as an actor. Yeah.
He's the daddy of the internet right now.
Oh.
Pedro Pascal. Yeah, he is.
Yeah, that's a joke that they have a meme going on, and he has accepted that he is the daddy of the internet right now.
Here I was thinking that was Jason Momoa.
Jason Momoa.
Not anymore.
Pietro has a child. He has Grogu. He is the daddy.
You vote for Pedro.
Vote for Pedro.
But to get back on point, we're gonna go on my part where I stem into like alternate universe versions of Wonder Woman that you might find interesting and might want to take a look at. One is definitely interesting is the Flashpoint Paradox Wonder Woman. As when Flash goes back in time to save his mother from dying, he does, but he ultimately changes the timeline in which the world is at war and Aquaman and Wonder Woman are fighting for the world supremacy. And that stems from when Aquaman and Wonder Woman in that timeline fought together, and they ended up falling for each other and having a few intimate moments. But this is while Aquaman was married to Mera. Mera catches him, and Aquaman, feeling like he betrayed his wife, which obviously he did, cuts it off with Wonder Woman. Mera confronts her. Wonder Woman cuts her head off and then starts a war with Aquaman, saying all men are worthless and goes after all of them. So, Barry saves his mom, but now the world's at war. That's actually an animated film as well as in the comics. So if you wanted to check it out in film form, it's Justice League: The Flashpoint Paradox.
I feel like I should get like my teacup out because this is getting real.
That one took it to the extreme. Some shit changed.
And that's just the tip of the iceberg.
Oh yeah, there's many different alternate versions of Wonder Woman, whether she's good or evil, depending on the situation. Another interesting one, if we stay with the course I'm going with, is the Injustice universe. I'm sure you've seen the Injustice video games.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. In that alternate world, Lois Lane in the rest of Metropolis is killed by the Joker. Superman loses it, rips the heart out of Joker's chest. Well, at that moment, Wonder Woman convinces Clark that under his reign, the world can be a better place. So through her manipulation and how she views him as the best of the best, years go by, her and him become a power couple and take over the world under his reign. Of which the rebellion against Superman is led by Batman. And during this time, even though Wonder Woman doesn't see it, she views the world that she's doing right, kind of like she's been manipulated in a cult. She views she's doing right, but she's actually doing some evil, horrendous things to keep Superman in power, like killing people. Ruthlessly.
Pixie, if you do ever want to read it, I do have it popped up on my stream, but I do have the giant comic of it. It's been out for so long that they have the whole collection of them. It is a very, very good read. It's a very interesting storyline to finally say what sides will heroes take in that situation and not just Wonder Woman.
She's like the evil Beyonce.
In that one, yeah, because she's looking at the world and going, well, Joker played a trick on Superman, and I believe he used fear toxin.
He did use fear toxin on Superman, and what happened was Superman saw Lois Lane, who was pregnant at the time, and his wife, as Doomsday. So the fear toxin caused Superman to take Lois Lane into outer space and suffocate her to death.
So Superman got mad, and Joker, Batman's telling Joker, you have gone way past the line at this point. You can't, you just did this, and Superman found where he was, flew over there, and just sucker punched the hole through his chest, and like killed the Joker, and that became this deciding point between the two of Batman going, we're not gods. We are not the dictators. We can't do this stuff.
And Superman took the dictator route and was like, I will not let evil do this again. And he became evil to stop evil.
I saw you drop your thing. You can pick it up.
Oh yeah, I realize I just don't really need it. I'm trying not to hit it so much. I'm a week, over a week, a week and 2 days from not smoking.
Ooh.
Quitting cigarettes? All right.
Yeah.
Well,
Look,
congratulations.
you go.
Keep it
So
up.
it's probably
No one needs
better
a
that
cancer
it's down
stick.
there.
Keep it up. No one needs a cancer stick.
Because I also don't want to go dependent on that either. So I just want to quit. So I'm not really interested in vaping all the time either.
You got this. You can do it.
I am. Yeah.
Do what I do. Just bury yourself in something else you like.
Well, I mean, considering what I do for a living and everything else, but yeah, I think that's really what's been so hard. Because it's kind of how I leaned in and focused, but I was really, really, really bad during those times, like how much I smoked and stuff like that. So just try to fill in those times with something else. I planted flowers yesterday.
Ooh,
Oh, wow.
I think I'm going insane.
that's not going insane. I'm still trying to convince my wife to let me plant a cherry blossom tree.
Aw, I love those.
I do too.
What?
She just hates the mess.
But it's not a mess you have to clean up.
It's
The
only
wind
once
will
a
be it
year.
for you.
It's only once a year.
Yeah, and you can make your son clean it up. It's his chores.
Exactly.
There you go.
But
I don't know. I planted some like butterfly type flowers. I don't know. Something that brings butterflies. And I have some more morning glories I'm gonna
That's
do.
not bad. Those are pretty
Those are really
good.
nice. Yeah.
Mhm.
But I guess I'll put us back on track, even though talking about flowers to help with smoking is actually a good thing. I do like that that's something you're striving for. In another alternate universe, Wonder Woman, it's another animated film that I have grown to like. It's called Justice League like Gods and Monsters. And in that one, Wonder Woman isn't actually Diana Prince. It's a woman named Becca who's actually a new god. She is the daughter of Allfather and was married to Darkseid's son Orion. She has godlike abilities far more than actual Wonder Woman had, and she fled to Earth in disguise as a human because Orion died and Darkseid is after her, blaming her. So she ends up joining the Justice League as that universe's Wonder Woman, using her godlike abilities to make the world better while staying in hiding.
So the worst father-in-law possible.
The word he is literally the godlike I'm gonna kill everybody demon. He hates everyone. He wants to take over.
Yeah, she got the short end of the stick. I realized you can't really choose who you love, but
Yeah, but damn.
red flags.
Yeah, and that one is quite interesting too. The Batman and Superman in that universe are also very different people too. So it's definitely a different take on how the Justice League is perceived. And I thought it was a very fun animated film.
Mhm.
Let's see here. I had one more I thought listed here for you. No? Oh yeah, I did. Okay, there is another Wonder Woman you might find interesting. From Earth 3, she's part of a... It's not Justice League, they call it the Crime Syndicate, where all the Justice League members on that Earth are actually all villains. And this Wonder Woman, kind of like Injustice Wonder Woman, but way more extreme, doesn't give a crap about anybody. She's into torture, bondage, ruthlessly killing people, and
Kinky.
she's a lover of that version of Superman who's named Ultraman, I believe, but cheating on him for that world's Batman who's actually Owlman. And what's kind of funny too is that's not even Diana Prince either. That's actually a version of Lois Lane who was raised by Amazons.
Okay.
Okay.
So that one might be interesting for you to read too. As far as I know, her only appearances have been in comics and a few episodes of the Justice League animated series.
There's a lot of ties to freaking Batman.
Yes, there is.
Uh,
Wonder.
e- e-
Yeah, go ahead. Sorry, Zero. I'm sorry. Yeah,
Oh,
go ahead.
I'm sorry, but that's because Batman, Wonder Woman, and Superman are viewed as the holy trinity of DC Comics. So when you talk about one, you're inevitably going to talk about one or both of the other two.
That's true. I can see that.
And I think Wonder Woman slept with both of them too. So you're gonna see.
Well,
I mean,
that
inevitably.
version I think slept with both of them, and I think the main one may have. I don't know.
Well, I mean, I guess close office quarters and all.
I mean, there's many alternate universes too in which she ended up with either one of them as a life partner. So
Yes.
heck, there's one universe I thought was interesting where her and Superman got together and had a child. They ended up dying, and Batman raised the child in their honor.
This love triangle.
Oh yeah, it's a very crazy love triangle.
Well, Miss Pixie, do you have any questions about any of that? I know it was kind of cliff notes for some of this stuff, but we can answer anything you got.
No, honestly, newfound respect, and pretty much my final conclusion is what are all these women doing? Who needs Real Housewives of Atlanta when you have Wonder Woman?
Exactly. Yeah, these reality TV shows that portray women in a certain light, in my opinion, are just ridiculous. And like you said, the Wonder Woman's the better way to, I guess, aspire towards.
There's a Wonder Woman for everyone, apparently.
Exactly.
Oh yeah. There's actually one more I missed a cliff note on. I want to tell you about before we get ready to tie everything up. There's another animated film I really loved, but it's part of a series of animated films that leads up to it, and it's very dark, it's very twisted, and you get kind of depressed about it, but it's actually really fun to watch. Justice League Apocalypse War, Wonder Woman, and that they end up going to Darkseid's planet to take the war to him to end the fight once and for all. Well, it turns out all the demons that are under Darkseid's control are all mini Doomsdays. The Justice League loses. Wonder Woman gets totally destroyed, like body parts missing, and they replace those with cyborg parts, and she becomes part of Darkseid's army as a Fury. Oh yeah, it's very dark and twisted. She ends up getting her memories back later on and switching sides again back to good, but she's completely disfigured for the rest of the story.
But bionic parts, sir.
Yes, she's like kind of like part cyborg, yeah.
Robo.
I'm digging it.
Well, hopefully, Miss Pixie. I know it wasn't a lot, but hopefully with what we gave you, we were able to fulfill your request for this episode.
Yes, very much.
And since I know you said this was kind of your first podcast to do, what'd you think?
I loved it.
Would you want to come back?
Of course.
Yes.
That's awesome. That definitely makes me happy too, because I thought you were a great person to talk to and have a great subject that we could all get in depth on.
Well, go ahead. Sorry. No, we do this all the time. Go ahead.
No, I was just saying, Wonder Woman's a great topic, so it's easy to fall into, easy to talk about, and everything.
Yeah, it was Zero and I, when I told him what we want to do, we were diving into it, and then we broke it down in like 3 different parts, and then we were talking about it's like, can we fit everything into 2 hours? And what we got, I'm like, no, we have enough that we can talk about, plus there's so much dissection of what we can do, of roadmaps of everything. And this was such a fun topic that Zero and I, we haven't done one in a while, but we do episodes that are called unscripted episodes, where we literally just pick a topic and we just branch it out from there.
We just run with it. We just bullshit the whole time.
Yeah, exactly. So if you would ever want to come back for a regular episode, or you want to come back for an unscripted, we would love to have you back too.
Yeah, tell me when. I'm good. Yeah.
Hell
The only other
yeah.
just chatting things I've done is mental health streams. So this is nice, you know?
And that's what we want to do with this. We want people to be able to take a breakaway. We've said it every time. We take a 2 hour breakaway from people to just come in, nerd out, have fun, chit chat with all of us that are in here. And hopefully
Yeah.
we're able to do that for you and you had a great time.
I did, very much.
Yes.
That's good, because I was so worried I was going to come off as a complete dickhead.
Not at all. Not really sure where that even came from.
People tell me that all the time. Even my co-host tells me sometimes you're just a dick.
Not this episode. I cannot attest for the others.
I appreciate that. Thank you.
Well, Miss Pixie, we are coming to the end, and usually what we do in the end of the episodes is we typically give an announcement or anything of what we have upcoming. And since you're a guest too, if you want to announce something you're going to be doing for your channel or streaming or something you want to promote, you can use that chance for you too if you want.
I'm still trying to come back from the 3 tornadoes that hit my town, but yeah, no. I did partner with Onicast that was in here. We are partnered on my server now. It's we kind of absorbed each other's servers, and that's been a really fun redo. Um, and it's not a networking server or anything like that. It's a gaming lounge for gamers, and we do tabletop. We're starting that up for Magic the Gathering and D&D.
Ooh, very
Oh,
nice.
nice.
Yeah.
I'm sure Caboose is thinking the same thing. We ever do another like D&D episode or talk about that? I'd love to have you on just to bullshit about that.
Yeah, it's been years, but I do really, really enjoy it. I actually I put myself in a place where I don't know if you know the game Conan Exiles.
I've heard of it, but I've never played.
Well, I do D&D style type like RP. I ran a server for 2 years and stuff like that, and that was pretty fantastic. But I'm excited to go back more in like a tabletop type thing. And I do woodworking, so I thought that maybe it'd be a fun excuse to get a block of wood and make my character.
That would be pretty cool to see.
Yeah.
I went to school of art, for art, so I appreciate all forms, and that interests me a lot.
Yeah. I do many. I paint the video games I play.
Nice.
Oh, really?
If you want to show some of those off, you can definitely do that. I know I see them in the background, but I don't get a chance to.
Well, I have this one. This is the snow area of the forest.
Mm-hmm. That's very good.
And that one back there, that is Jacob's region from Far Cry 5. I have No Man's Sky hanging in my hallway. Like anything with pretty scenery, really. Just it's my thing. I like to paint in oils.
So Fallout's out of the question because it's all destroyed.
Ooh, that could be because behind this one, this is going to be the nuke explosion from COD.
Ooh.
So I mean, it's not all traditional beauty. It's just pretty. That's it.
Beauty is always in the eye of the beholder, is how I like it. I think you can find beauty in anything.
Yes.
Exactly it. Like, what was it? I liked oil painting in college too. I think Caboose knows the story. I once had a professor who was teaching me about oil paints and stuff, and I was doing something. I think it was my second project, and he walks over by me and he kind of looks at me, and I said, "Yeah." He goes, "Are you okay?" I'm like, "Yeah, why?" He goes, just checking, making sure you're good, no problems." And I look at my painting, and it's a picture of a demonic goat horn figure that looks like it's in the eye from Lord of the Rings. And I'm like, huh, you must have thought my mental health was off today.
Hey, I just like the blendability. They don't dry like acrylic and all that. And I really love color theory. So like, that's why I do like the horror makeup and stuff like that.
I just thought it was funny.
Mhm.
When
Yeah.
when she starts streaming again, and when she does her makeup, you need to come see her stream when she does those. She's done phenomenal makeup work that she's had when she does streams.
So what do you do? Do you do it on someone else? Or you do it on yourself, like
I
as
do
you're
it on
talking?
myself. I have to. Okay, so I did it all the month of October
Hmm.
because I figured people would get it a little better. And I would stream at 2 p.m. at that time. And I would have to start at 9 a.m. because I make my own prosthetics and everything. And they would have to dry and all this other stuff. But yeah, I did zombies, a zombie day, a werewolf victim. I did Harley Quinn. That one was a little less fun because I really hate pink.
Oh, really?
And it stained my eye on the side I did pink, and that sucked. But I did uh, Queen Amidala from Star Wars.
I
I
I want
did.
to. I don't mean to interrupt you. I want to say I was so mad at a lot of people in your stream that did not get that when they saw that, and
Me too.
I wanted to take away all of their cards of being nerds if you don't know Princess Amidala's makeup
Oh, I was
patch.
so mad. Yeah, I was. I'm like, really, guys? Because it's pretty obvious. But that's fine. Um, I did. What else did I do? I did a Norse goddess. I did horror, poison ivy. I think that was my last one because it had to be more simple. I had to fit all the process into 2 hours because I had requests for people to see it done.
Ooh, yeah.
But yeah, that one was definitely a little bit less because I don't do latex because I have very sensitive skin. I just can't do that. So I actually make my prosthetics out of Mod Podge and toilet paper.
Interesting.
Yeah, it's pretty fun.
I like watching. I like watching her when she comes in there with all the stuff. And there's point. I like watching when you do all of it. I like seeing the aftermath. There's been a few times that I've called Pixie on a call just to chit chat with her, and she's in the process of doing the makeup. Like she said, she does it early to make sure it is perfect.
Yes, you have to because I mean, if it doesn't glue right, it sucks. Or like I have to sit there and make really weird faces, like smile as big as I can because I need to know if it's gonna crack. Um, but no, like I love the TikToks I got out of that month. I loved the curse witch. That one was probably one of my favorites. And I love making fake blood. I've got my recipe down.
That'd definitely be interesting to watch. When do you normally do those streams for that specific one? Is it just
Well, so
October?
far I've only done it in October, but I have had people ask why don't I do it all the time, and I'm like I could, just simply because people cosplay on stream all the time.
Mm-hmm.
Um, but yeah, I would probably be willing to start doing that in the summer, coming up, like maybe um last part of May because I have a lot less going on. Because right now I get back to my house at like an hour before I stream. I am not going on my 2 hour afternoon drive that I have to do in horror makeup because I do it very realistically. Like I'm gonna worry some people, probably gonna get pulled over. People are gonna be concerned. Um, so, but
That makes life more fun. Come on.
Yeah, I mean,
I would die laughing to get pulled over by a cop with zombie makeup on. That'd be great.
oh, that would be awesome. Especially as I would like to do something maybe more in depth for my next zombie look because really I just did one where it looked like I was bit everywhere.
I saw that one. I thought that was really good detail you put into that.
But it's color theory, man. It's just blending. It's no different than my paintings. You know what I'm saying? That's where I found the love for it and stuff. That's why I say I'm only girly with makeup. It's pretty much the only place I am, and that's because I started in horror. I've done a buddy of mine that I've known since I was 12. He owns a Buck Short Productions. He makes B horror films, and I've done makeup for him quite a few times, and I fucking loved it. Like I would do that for a career. Full stop.
Heck, it'd be fun to be an actor in some of that, just to be able to wear cool makeup like that.
He has asked me, but to be honest, I'm also extremely modest, and some of his scenes and parts of his movies where I would not participate. Not letting. Yeah.
Well, to all of you guys who are definitely watching, check out Pixie when she streams. Check out her videos. She is very fun. She plays the story game. She plays Conan a lot. Definitely watch when she does her makeup stuff. It is awesome to watch the transition of all of those. I believe you said you have TikTok too.
Yes.
They post the videos.
Same name.
They're cool to watch the transitions of everything, and the before and after product is amazing.
Yeah, I'm not cute after that. I try not to be.
She's got to get into character, so just know she gets into character with it.
Yes.
But
you kind of have to. It's more fun.
Yeah.
On our end, the only announcement that we have is next week we are taking a break for podcasts. We were going to do one next week, but we need to take a break because we have something that came up for that weekend. We will be back the week after that, which should be with our next guest, Dan, I believe.
You schedule. I listen to their names one time and then I forget, which is it's horrible. But I'm horrible with names, so I try.
Pixie, it's the joy of trying to run all of this with two people right now. It is such a great time.
Hey, why do you think I merged my server? I wasn't doing shit with it. Now I have help. It's always better.
But we are taking a break next week, so we will be back the following week. And keep an eye open on all the social medias. As I said, check out Pixie when she streams. Look up her name, Pixiewitchgameing. She'll pop up easily on Twitch. Follow her on TikTok. Check her out everywhere. Amazing streamer, Pixie. I'm so happy you came to our podcast today. It was such a fun time to finally have you. I'm calling it now. Your next podcast you have to watch that homework list we're sending you.
Oh yeah. He's gonna have a list. He's gonna send you the whole thing. A lot of this stuff, it shouldn't be too bad. I think you'll enjoy it.
Give me a week's notice.
I can do that
because I'm a little bit of a workaholic.
I can do that.
I send it to you now, and you just do it when you need to.
A big chunk of this homework is on HBO Max too, so you can watch all of it on there.
Perfect.
But on this part of the end of the podcast, Pixie, we usually just kind of say a farewell greeting of how we normally end our streams. So on my end, thank you very much, everyone, and as always, till the next one.
Yes, and thank you, everyone. Thank you, Pixie, and may the power protect you all.